Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What up? Good morning, B. Hannas. Yeah, welcome to it. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Good morning, B. Hannas. That's some Nikki B. Hannas in the music. First thing in the not first thing in the morning, but here it is. It is a fine Saturday morning on this new morning show. Good morning, B. Hannas. I am the host, Nikki B. Hannas. What's up? What's up? I'm a musician first and foremost before a fledgling YouTuber slash podcaster. That's a new plot twist. You can find my music at nickybhannas.com, nickybhannas.bandcamp.com, Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. And now, this is the Good Morning B. Hannas on the BS with B. Hannas YouTube channel. You can find that on, obviously, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. What's up? Happy Saturday. Yesterday, I kept saying it was Thursday. Yesterday, in fact, was Friday. Today is Saturday. And I did the damn thing, Got the day off today. Took the day off. One of my dearest best friends in the world just had a daughter last year, and it is her first birthday party. So, not working. Took the day off, and I'm going to go see my people. Having friends is important. It's something I put it this way. I mean, I sweat small stuff, thus the title of this. I definitely do. And I have a super addictive personality, generally speaking. And psychologically, I'm like all jacked up just to keep it totally transparent. You know what I'm saying? Most of us are. I'm not special in that regard. I'm not the only one who's kind of fucked in the head in different ways. And a big task of life is to learn how to unfuck ourselves and deprogram things that fuck us and then reprogram with things that build us. I'm in the midst of that. Getting sober was the biggest major plot twist in that. And how I conduct myself and how I think and, all my systems and just kind of how I operate. And, every time I feel like I'm in a rush. I take a day off and took my walk. I still got to go work out, but I still got to go stop by work and drop some stuff off because half of me doesn't trust the people. And that's a problem. That's a leadership issue. That's a management issue. I'm in a position of management. And I'm, it's just a constant, it's learning new stuff, man, all the time. And that's kind of like thrust of this channel. Like, it's funny. I have this listed as it's when you sign up to make a podcast, you have to put it in a category. You have to put it in a genre. And the only like self-improvement or self-development genre, which is really what I'm interested in talking about first and foremost, it's classified as education. Now, I like that. I like that because I went to school to be a teacher. So it's like, oh, shit, yeah, finally. I'm in the education field, huh? I'm in the education field talking smack on the internet. And the only thing, I'm not, it's just like, this is intended to supplement the music, which is what I'm more comfortable doing. It's more of a creative thing than anything, a side project, if you will. And it's like, this is just, good morning with Be Honest. If someone finds my music and finds my online persona, what have you, I think this is good to, learn the person, whatever. That's the intent. The intent is to, like I say in the description, I'm a dude getting after it in the morning. Took my couple mile walk with the weighted jacket on, listen to some good stuff on the YouTube for some, keep a wholesome mental diet. And then I get here and I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, man, I still got to go run. And I have this like compulsive, fuck, I got to be doing something. I can't sit still too long. And when I do sit still too long, sometimes I get stressed. And I've taken a bunch of time off work in the past couple of weeks, to actually do fun things in life. Shame on me. I take off work to do fun things and cool things. And I'm like stressed about it. There's some kind of complex there, but it's all right. You know what I mean? It's funny because I get so frustrated with people in my vocation running a fast food / casual dining / quick food restaurant. And I'm real close with the owner and I love the guy. He's my man. But there's so much frustration and agitation and like tension all the damn time. And it weighs on me a little bit to the point where I'm not there and I feel guilty. And I'm going to try and instead of delegating the work to somebody else, I got to overcompensate. Something as dumb as going to get like a case of lettuce and mushrooms so that they don't got to leave the store to go get it, which I should have done in 3 or 4 different capacities, probably to set myself up to have a smooth day off. But you know what I mean? Shit don't matter. This is sweating the small stuff. which is another one, a newer addition to my morning readings. I like to spend my mornings by waking up and reading, taking my walk, doing a little more reading. And this is the newest development. This is the fifth episode of Good Morning with Hannas. 5 minutes in, just, I want it to be a quick, just say what's up to the people on the creative trip. It's going to hopefully just add to my portfolio of works published, because there's a lot of people that I was listening to more the deep end with Taylor Welch today. And there's like the idea that we have such an internalized, not all of us, obviously, but some of us have like such an internalized system of shame, but at the same time need things to be perfect. And that creates like a stasis and like paralysis almost, where you won't do anything because you don't want to have criticism levied against you for what you do, And I've performed enough and put myself out there enough that like, I don't really take too much criticism to heart or nothing, but I don't want to exist in that paralyzed state where I just don't do anything. If you don't do anything, you don't get anything. You don't get to explore. Even just doing the YouTube experiment before, this is the current state of it, the current iteration of it. But getting on here behind a microphone, headphones on YouTube, on video, with goofy sunglasses on. Maybe the sunglasses is some kind of psychological projection in and of itself too. Who knows? But you got to get out there and do it. You got to push boundaries and scaffold yourself into learning new stuff and experiencing new things. I've learned a lot about myself just from doing this, and right now I'm pretty detached from any outcome. I'm not looking for anything out of it, just part of a cool morning routine. Because as I've stressed before, it seems to be that sets the day. And it's been a pretty good week, all things considered. And it was pouring rain again in this corner of Pennsylvania all last night, like pouring rain. And then today it was still kind of drizzly and shitty out this morning. By the time I got that weighted vest on there, took a walk, man, the breeze is cool. Birds are out there. I see all types of animals. I love it. Sets the tempo right. And then I sit here and I'm like, I got to call this produce place to go get my lettuce. And immediately I'm like in that work, like, oh shit, I got to hurry up. Looking at my watch, looking at the time, thinking about how traffic's going to be. And I'm sweating small stuff, man. Yeah, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. That's a famous book. The first time I'd heard of that was when I was on county probation. Because when you go on, I ended up having to do Chester County drug court years and years ago for a DUI I got. My only DUI, one DUI. And there's a mandatory outpatient rehab program that you have to do as part of being complicit with the program, ARD program in Pennsylvania, to get it expunged off your record when it's done. For my repercussions, I had to do that. And in that, I had the counselor I had, his name was James. Shout out James. He was right about a lot of stuff, but man, at the time, I was such a just dickhead. I would come in with this resentful, victim-y, why do I have to be here? And granted, this dude was like super overweight, eating McDonald's in the middle of a session, telling me not to sweat the small stuff. I'm like, dude, like, why am I going to take any advice from you? I'm here because I have to be, because I fucked up and I'm paying the cost. And, I just had that real axe to grind the whole time. I didn't really care about anything this guy said. But one of the books that he did recommend to me was Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Only recently did I pick it up and start reading it, because it's like the chapters are like a page. That's like great for morning reading, right next to my positive thinking every day, right next to my daily stoic. I got the daily John C. Maxwell leadership reader in the morning, As Bill Sees It, which is like the AA guy, Bill W. And these are great, just thanks to just little small excerpts every morning. I'm so guilty of sweating small stuff, and it drives me into a state of like just agitation, at least outright aggression at best. And my perception of my frustrations throughout my day to day. If I perceive the people, quote unquote, under me or parallel to me in my job as being mediocre, I'm like constantly in this agitated state of fighting mediocrity. And as myself in a position of, leadership, it's like I'm trying to pour in, trying to, tell people not just what to do, but why it's important that they do it. And then I have to demonstrate that at the same time. Funny thing about that is one misstep, you fucking play yourself one time and then it all goes out the window. I mean, we had, like I said, it's a fast dining, quick food, fast food place, sweet. It's Five Guys esque what we do. And we had a huge, not a huge, but like a big catering order that was supposed to be due at 11:30 yesterday. Guess who forgot about it? This asshole. Totally forgotten about it. So guy comes in. It's like, yeah, I'm picking up for Billy, whatever his name was. And I'm like, fuck. Here we go. And it was just a mess. So even though I started my day pretty good, got to deal with the curveballs, man. And even something like that, I get so in my head and agitated, like, shit, how am I going to be telling these? I don't want to call them underlings, but the people, the rank and file, let's just call it. How am I going to tell these people to do a good job? And I can't even. It's like when I make a mistake, it's like a big mistake. And well, you got to roll with the punches, man. You got to hit curveballs or at least swing at them, get under it, and handle business. So that's what we did. But I mean, this is all small stuff. This is all small stuff. None of this is truly important in the grand scheme of things. It's no one got hurt. There's no life or limb on the line. Just rolling with the punches, doing the thing, man. And it sucks. I don't like talking about work necessarily. I don't like talking about politics necessarily. This is personal development. So welcome. If you're listening to it, you're talking to a man in the midst of it. In the midst of it, I'm trying to throw myself into it and, live in that progressive, moving forward, momentous type of place, man. And this little experiment talking to the people online, it's part of it. That's all part of it to me. But that being said, 12 minutes in, I got to start keeping this moving. What do I got? What's my reading today? The one I really like today that I want to pull from, just to give some wisdom to the listeners out there. All y'all. Today is May 31st from the Daily Stoic. The headline is, "We have but one obligation." The quote is a Marcus Aurelius quote. "What is your vocation? To be a good person." Sounds good in theory, but I always questioned, I just want to be a good person. Just be a good person. So many people say that. That's so vague. It doesn't mean anything. What does it mean to be a good person? I don't really call myself a good person because I've done a lot of dirt. I mean, I got a kind of a checkered past. And I'm still, again, I'm so cognizant and hyper aware to a point of probable. You could probably diagnose me with some bullshit and try and medicate me with some bullshit, but like, you can miss me with that bullshit. I'm just so like neurotic in that way. Self-aware to a stupid extent, frustrated by where I'm at. So, like I've said, throwing myself into trying to get better, be a good person. I don't call myself a good person. I try to be. I try, now that I'm in full control of my faculties, which is extraordinarily hard when you're a weed head or a drinker or you like some Coke. What I mean? When you're doing that kind of shit, even in a little bit, it's kind of hard to say you're in total control. Some people say they are, and some people are. I was not one of them. That's all good. So to be a good person, what's that mean? To do good work. We could all speculate on it. We could have a great discussion about it. We could postulate and come up with things, gear us towards future success to be a good person. But I'm not always so certain what it means. But Marcus Aurelius says that's our job. That is our job, to be a good person. I can get behind that. Not that Marcus Aurelius needs my be Hannas stamp of approval, but he's got it there. Ryan Holiday's little blurb about that. He says, "The Stoics believed, above all else, that our job on this earth is to be a good human being. It is a basic duty, yet we are experts at coming up with excuses for avoiding it." Yeah, but that's all vague. Like I struggle with this. I like to think I try to be a good person. Part of me, in my regard, it's like getting up and walking every single day. It seems stupid, it seems small, but there's a lot to be said about just walking, and just there's something bigger there that I don't have the command of language to demonstrate right now. To me, it's very therapeutic in a lot of ways, and it resets your brain. It kind of sheds off some of that extra unnecessary tensions and stresses and things that you're kind of carrying without realizing it. You take a long walk and just I like to a lot of times listen to things and feed my brain while I'm doing that. But a lot of times also I'll just listen to nothing besides whatever's going on around me. Other times I'll put on some music and just catch a vibe and just use it as a creative fuel, you know? But even since I quit drinking, that makes me a good person. A lot of people see me quit drinking, and a lot of people said I wouldn't be able to, you know. And every day that I continue to not, that's what a good person does. It shows that it's possible. It demonstrates the ability to change completely who you are vis-a-vis a day-to-day thing, activity, lifestyle, or habit that you participate in. And maybe I'm just so, new to sobriety that it's such a personality trait, and people don't like that either. People think that people quit drinking and get on a high horse, and it's like, yeah, well, you're a drunk fool. So I'm on a much higher horse than you. Well, you spent so much time doing this. Isn't it hypocritical to slander and talk shit on other people for doing what you did? I've seen the error of my ways, son. Corrected the behavior. Life got infinitely better rapidly. And you know what? As long as I don't keep sweating small stuff, shit, it's still getting better, dude. It's still motherfucking getting better. And that's what we're here for. So now I can show up to my boy's party for his 1-year-old daughter with his wife and his friends and his close people and my close people I've known 15 years. I was listening to Myron Golden a couple weeks ago, and I like Myron Golden a lot. There's a lot of people on YouTube I really like. Myron Golden, Taylor Welch. That's one aspect of what I'm into in terms of listening to people, consuming content, if you will. But Myron said something, he doesn't really trust people who don't have long-standing relationships like that. I guess it demonstrates character. I was best man in my boy's wedding. I fucking love this guy. Very happy for him. I'm incredibly happy for his wife, and it's a beautiful thing to see him raise a daughter, and I don't get to see him that often because we're old. I mean, I'm only in my early 30s, but when I'm working with these underlings at work and they're like high school kids or young college kids, frat bros and shit, I remember being that age, and shit, if I'm 32 and this bull's 17 or this dude's 22, I'm an old head next to these cats. I'm the grandpa, dude. And I got to lean into that. But it's much better to be a grandpa who's up and after it every day. They're like, damn, what's Nicky doing? He's fucking probably spiraling about the new world order or lifting weights or something. I get into that meta analysis and I get selfish like that because it's all fucking based on sweating the small stuff. But as Ryan Holiday concludes here, he quotes Bill Belichick. To quote Bill Belichick again, do your job. That's right. Get it done. Get it done. What your job is up to a discussion, I guess. But what I boil it down to is being a good example. And again, maybe I'm just overcompensating from having been a bad example for a lot of my life. It's all right. Better late than never, as the saying goes. Better late than motherfucking never, as the saying goes. And that also applies to my lettuce and mushrooms that I got to pick up for these fools and for the bench presses I got to do today. And we're going to keep it pushing that way. 18 minutes? Damn, I'm getting too long. See what happens? See what happens when I go past 5-10 minutes? I start fucking spiraling. Anyway, thank you for this. Thank you all for being here. This has been a fine Saturday edition of Good Morning Be Hannas on the BS with Be Hannas YouTube channel. You can find this talk show-ish thing on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify Podcasts. You can find my music at nickybhannas.com or nickybhannas.bandcamp.com or Nicky B. Hannas on all streaming services. Back to the music. Benny's Burner NG. Keep it real. One love. Peace.